Good morning, students. So today we're going to see about use case testing. Okay, this is one testing technique that comes under black box testing technique. So this is the last among the black box testing techniques we are learning. Okay, so far we have learned the different types of black box testing techniques like equivalence class partitioning, which focuses on dividing your input into classes. Okay, and then thereby we'll be framing test cases from each class. Then we moved on to boundary value, in which we wrote test cases especially for boundary conditions. Then we had state transition testing, which we learned last class. Then decision table testing we have seen. Okay, and now we are going to see use case testing now. Okay, so we have seen what is use cases during the end of the first module. Okay, use cases are normally used to capture interactions between the user and the application. Okay, so whatever interaction user has with the application, those are getting tested through use case testing. Okay, so the main focus of use case testing is to test for interactions between the system and the user. That is what is captured in use cases. Okay, and in order to diagrammatically represent use cases, we have something called as use case diagrams as well. So we have seen this topic in module 1. So as a part of use case, in order to capture the interactions between the system and the user, use cases are measuring and recording your interactions. And when we record interactions can be of two types. That is, the normal course of interactions that happen between the user and the application, if everything goes without any error, everything goes smooth, okay, with no errors in between, with nothing happening odd in between, everything goes as expected, then we have a set of interactions that normally happen. Those are the interactions that we capture and record in the main success scenario. Okay, and the set of interactions which are kept as alternate set of interactions, and these are basically executed only when any of the interaction fails. Any of the interaction in the main success scenario fails, then we take any of the alternative course of action listed in the extension or exception scenarios. Okay, so we have two types of interactions, two categories of interactions. One category of interactions are those which happen when everything is going smooth as per your expectation. If all the interactions are happening smooth, then those interactions are recorded as main success scenarios. A scenario is nothing but a collection of interactions. Okay, and if any one of the step in main success scenario fails, we'll be taking an alternate course of action from the extension scenario. Okay, so when we frame use cases, what happens is, we'll be framing, when we frame test cases, what we do is we'll be framing test cases each from the main success scenario, and also we'll frame test cases from extension. Okay, so see, so far for all the testing techniques that we have seen under black box, we see that a system, in order to test a particular application, we use some intermediary. We first prepare an intermediary notation, and from that intermediary notation, we derive test cases. So, for example, in the case of state transition testing, we have prepared state transition diagrams. Okay, and from that diagram, we basically derive the test cases. In the case of decision table testing, we prepared something called as the decision table, and from the decision table, we prepare the test cases. For boundary value, we have checked for boundaries. We have found out the boundaries, and from the boundary conditions, we frame test cases. In equivalence class partitioning, we prepare equivalence classes, and from equivalence class, we derive test cases. That means an application, in order to be tested, we are actually using some intermediary form. Okay, we derive certain aspects of the application, we use the inputs that are provided to the application, and based on the expected output as well, we prepare some intermediary notation, and from this intermediary notation, we try to frame out test cases. And the main objective behind any black box testing technique remains the same, that is to improve the test coverage as well as to reduce the number of test cases. Okay, so that happens to be the major objective behind any black box testing technique. We need to have maximum test coverage. Okay, 100% test coverage is desirable, but the number of test cases that we are going to use for testing should be limited. Okay, so these are two extremes actually. Increasing the number of test cases will guarantee maximum coverage, but here we are focusing on decreasing the number of test cases, but yet we try to achieve maximum test coverage. By test coverage, I mean the amount of application that is covered by a particular test case, the amount of application that is undergoing testing, a particular testing technique. Okay, what is the portion of application that has been successfully tested, that happens to be called as test coverage. So this is an intro on whatever I told just now is an intro on use case testing. I'll go through the slide. The value of use cases is that what is the purpose of a use case basically? It's used to capture the system's functional requirements from the user's perspective and not from a technical perspective, and irrespective of the development paradigm used. Okay, that is basically when I think about a use case, I will be thinking from the user's point of view. See, if I write a use case for an ATM, I will be thinking from the user's perspective. That is, what is the first thing that the user do when he visits an ATM machine? He will be placing his card in the corresponding slot, and when his card is swiped, what happens on the screen, and what is the next course of action that the user does after the card has been successfully read. Okay, and what is the next step, what is the response from the system, what is the response or what is the type of interaction the user has next. So the series of interactions that the user has with the application, that is going to be written. So whenever we prepare use cases are prepared from user's perspective. Yes, so it can actively involve users' requirements gathering and definition process. So provide the basis for identifying the system's key internal components, structures, databases, and relationships. So it serves as a foundation for developing test cases at system and acceptance level. See, this means that this type of use case notation, test, that is writing use cases, will help us to frame test cases for system testing as well as for acceptance testing. Okay, this is a format of a typical use case. We have seen, I believe, when we learned about use cases in module 1, we have seen what is the basic format of a use case. So for any particular use case, we'll be having these many columns, okay, these many entries. So we have the use case number identifier, we have use case name, goal of the use case, now scope of the use case, level of the use case, the primary actor. See, actor is one term that we have learned when we learned about use cases. Actor is any person who actually interacts with the system. Okay, it can be any stakeholder of the system. An actor can be an individual, or else an actor can be another system that takes the service of this particular system. Any application that takes the service of another application can be called as an actor of that particular application. So that it's not actually necessary that an actor need to be a person. It can be another application. Okay, so an actor is anybody who interacts with the application. Any stakeholder of the application can be called as an actor. So in use case terminology, now we have preconditions. See, for ATM, I am writing use case for ATM. Precondition is that the ATM machine is working. An ATM is there, the machine is working, the particular room is open for me. Okay, that is the precondition. Now success end condition. End condition in sense, for ATM I can tell I successfully returned with the required cash in my hand. That is the basic exit condition for me. Okay, success indicator. Now fail end condition. Okay, my ATM is under repair, or else the ATM counter is closed, or such an ATM is the counter has been closed forever, whatever it is. The ATM has been removed to a different location, so that means it is a fail condition. I have failed to do my whatever service I need, that is not actually got. So that means that it is a failure end condition. Okay. Then what are the different steps that goes in the main success scenario? For ATM, I can tell I swipe the card, the swipe has been this card has been properly recognized. I provide with my PIN number, the PIN number is correct, it has been properly verified. Now I request for some amount. The next positive condition is my requested amount is there in my account balance, so that I can easily withdraw the amount. So that is getting withdrawn, and the ATM has got sufficient cash. That is a precondition. Okay, that is another precondition. So ATM is having cash, required cash. My account is also having the requested amount as balance, so that I can straight away withdraw the amount from the account, and successfully I'm getting the cash in my hand. So that is the series of actions, a series of interactions that normally happen if everything is going as per the plan, if everything is going smooth. Okay, these are the set of interactions. Okay, now if in case I provide a pin number which is wrong, so that means that that is one interaction that is failing in the main success. So what happens is, if I am having a pin number which I have provided is wrong, what happens is the ATM will show me pin number is wrong, and I'm provided with a three time turn in order to provide the pin. Okay, if I provide pin number three times, the three times I provide a wrong pin number means my ATM, the account will be, that is, I won't be able to use the ATM any further for that particular day. I got to wait till the next day to provide with the correct pin and then get back my money. Okay, so that is, if any one of the interaction in the main success fails, what happens is I have alternate course of action, and that has to be listed in the extension scenario. Okay, so if any of the conditions, any of the interactions in the main success fails, I got to resort to any action listed in the extension scenario. So interactions are grouped into two categories. One is interactions headed under main success scenario, and interactions listed under extension. Okay, I have the primary actor, secondary actor again. Okay, then extension scenario I have here. Primary actor, secondary actor, channels to due date, completeness, open issues. All these are not that necessary. Just understand these are the different different sections in a use case. Okay, this is one example that they have listed in your textbook, wherein a student is trying to register for a particular course in a university. So you have the conditions, the interactions listed out there. The primary actor is the student, no preconditions. As per this particular course, no precondition required. The success end condition is the student is successfully registered for the course. Failure is the student course list is unchanged. Students once registered, that course should appear in the students registration list. So if the course is not appearing in the students registration list, it means that the registration was unsuccessful. That is why the last registered course is not listed. Fine. So we have the set of interactions again in the main success scenario. A student selects a course, register for the course, then displays the course description, selects an option, that is a session, which sessions class is want to attend, he wants to attend, then the days and time, accepts all these things. Okay, so these are the different interactions that happen if everything is going as per normal way around without any errors or confusions in between. Okay, now if any one of those interactions in the main success fails, I have my this thing extension scenario there. So I have that extension scenario in which the conditions, the failure conditions are course does not exist. Okay, so what I got to do is I got to display a message, such a course requested by the student does not exist. Next is section does not exist, that is the user is requesting for a particular time period, for a particular time for attending the classes to the course, but that particular session, that particular time is not available, time slot is not available. So then also display error message will be displayed. Now section is full. If the user is opting for a particular slot in order to attend the class for the course, and that particular slot is full, then error message is displayed again. So these are the set of actions, interactions that come in the extension scenario. If any one of the particular interaction main success fails, then any alternate course of action from extension scenario will be taken. So to test the implementation, so in order to prepare, see, once I have prepared the test case, now what is my idea is, I will be framing test cases. Once I have written use case, I will be framing test cases for one for each main success scenario and one test case for each extension. Okay, so I'll be preparing test cases for main success scenario, plus I will be preparing test cases for testing extension scenario conditions. Okay, so that is how I limit the number of test cases. I'll be framing couple of test cases to test for main success scenario interactions, and I will be preparing test cases for testing extension scenario conditions. Fine. So always remember to evaluate the risk. So I got to actually assess the risk with each interaction. Okay, see, I got to anticipate. See, if this particular interaction is not happening properly, what is the next step? What I got to do as an alternative? So we cannot actually be that much optimistic. We cannot think that all the interactions in the main success will go fine. We should expect odd conditions. We should analyze the risk element involved with each interaction. Fine. So we got to write test cases for handling risk conditions. We got to write test cases for testing main success scenario conditions and also for extension conditions. So to create test cases, start with normal data for most often used transactions, then move to boundary value. See, it is like when we write test cases for both extension and main success scenario, we got to focus on valid data and also we got to test for invalid data. Okay, you got to write test cases for valid data as well as you got to write test cases for testing invalid data if provided. Next, choose the transactions that while not often used, vital to the success of the system. You got to select those transactions which are not often used, but they got to be tested because those transactions are very vital to the system. ചില ഇൻട്രാക്ഷനൊക്കെ എപ്പോഴും നമുക്ക് ആ ഇൻട്രാക്ഷൻസ് നമ്മൾ ചെയ്യണമെന്നില്ല, പക്ഷേ അത് ചെയ്താൽ വളരെ വൈറ്റലാണ്. അതായത് അത് ദോസ് ഇൻട്രാക്ഷൻസ് ആർ വെരി ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻറ്റ് ടു ദി സിസ്റ്റം, ദോ നോട്ട് ഡൺ ഫ്രീക്വൻ്റ്ലി, ഇഫ് ഡൺ ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് വെരി വൈറ്റൽ. അപ്പോൾ അങ്ങനെയുള്ളതിനെയും നമ്മൾ ടെസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യാതെ വിടരുത്. So make sure you have at least one test case for every extension use case. So that is all regarding use case testing. Okay, so for use case testing, you understand what is use case. You just go through, this is the format I've given, you just go through the different sections in a normal use case, and this is the intermediary notation that is used for use case testing. You prepare use cases. After that, what you do is you will be listing out interactions in the main success scenario. You will be listing out interactions in the extension scenario. And when you come out for framing test cases, you will be preparing test cases for main success conditions and you will be writing separate test cases for extension conditions. And also you will be writing test cases for testing valid data as well as for invalid data. So also you will be writing test cases for testing those transactions which may not occur frequently but are very vital to the application. Okay, so these are the points that we note when we try to prepare test cases based on use case. Okay, so go through, and if you've got any doubts you can ask, and thank you for your patient listening.